let's talk about these Nifty 50s. What are they? Why are they so good? And why might they be the only lens you actually need in your camera bag? Let's talk about it. Well, first of all, we need to talk about what a Nifty 50 is. Well, essentially it's a 50mm lens, and that's not super surprising. They're generally f1.8, and generally speaking, they are one of, if not the cheapest prime lens for whichever manufacturer you tend to use. If you shoot Canon, I've got the RF one here, the RF 50mm f1.8. They do the EF version, of course. Sony do it, Nikon do it, Panasonic do it. Everyone has their own Nifty 50, and generally it's the cheapest prime lens in the range, and it's often the first prime lens most of us get when we start out with photography or when we move to a new brand. I know that my first Nifty 50, I was so excited because I had a fast aperture lens. You know, up until then I was using f3.5 to 5.6 on a kit lens. So when I was able to use f1.8, I was extremely excited. Even if you have a crop sensor camera, this works out mostly to be around 85mm. So still a very exciting focal range, and certainly for portraits, that's gonna be super killer compared to a kit lens. So what makes these so cool? Well, obviously the price is a big part of it, right? They're super cheap compared to loads of other lenses. Yes, there's a bit of a trade-off in image quality. You wouldn't expect something like this to have the same image quality that you'd get on a lens that cost over £1,000. But that would be ridiculous if you did expect that. These still give really good image quality. Have I used a Nifty 50 in a professional environment? Yeah, I have, absolutely. I've used them to take headshots, environmental kind of shots, and all kinds of stuff like that. They're super useful, you get some nice bokeh, and frankly, they are small and lightweight, so they're very, very easy to bring around. Now, why do I say this might be the only lens you need in your camera bag? Well, 50mm is incredibly versatile. I mentioned portraits before. You can get kind of close-up headshot kind of things, so head and shoulders. You can get a much wider portrait. You've got some decent bokeh. f1.8 is pretty fast. That means that, of course, you're gonna get better low light situations. You're gonna get that nice blurred background. You can be able to get blurred foreground. But 50mm is also wide enough to be able to pull back and get some landscape shots, maybe some street photography. Yes, it's definitely small enough to use for street. Food photography, 50mm works great for that kind of thing. Really, 50mm is just one of those all-rounders you can use for all kinds of stuff. Maybe you wanna shoot some video. Guess what? This is gonna be fantastic for that kind of video cinematic look, but you can put it back to a talking headshot. There's loads of stuff you can do with a Nifty 50, and hey, at this size and this weight, this is super easy to take around with you. So if you do need to travel light, you need to move around a lot, you need to be able to be quick, this is gonna be great to have on the front of your camera. So yes, at some point you will then probably want to upgrade, and you might go for a 50mm f1.4 or 50mm f1.2, whatever it might be. You might want to use a different focal length. You might find that you like 85mm a lot and you're doing a lot of portrait work, so that works well for you. Or you might find that you tend to go towards the wider side of things, so you can go for a 35mm. Well, guess what? You've just learned all that by using the Nifty 50. I also think that because this is generally the first prime lens a lot of us get, because it's cheap, essentially. It's a cheap and extremely interesting lens because it'll be the first fast lens that you'll use. It really helps us all grow as photographers because suddenly we can't zoom like you might have been able to with the kit lens. Your composition's gonna have to get better because now you are just using a fixed 50mm lens. I really genuinely think that Nifty 50s, I hesitate to say underrated. I hesitate to say that because I think a lot of us know how good they are and actually how useful they are, but they probably don't get the recognition they deserve as such an incredible tool for improving photography and really getting you out of a tight situation. Like I say, I've got access to a lot of lenses, right? Because I work at Park Cameras, I use all kinds of stuff all the time. And yet, in professional situations, I have turned to a Nifty 50, a cheap prime lens, because it was the one that really sorted the job. It was easy to use, I could get the exact shots I needed to get, and I could stick with one lens on the front. And you know, it was quite tight, there wasn't a lot of space, so it worked really well with it being very small. And I was able to get the shots I needed to get, which is super, super helpful. So if you don't have a 50mm lens, it might just be worth having a look at a Nifty 50. Whatever brand it is that you use. Like I say, I've got the Canon one here, and I know for a fact, that the Canon ones are very, very nice. But whatever brand you use, it might be worth having a look because it's a fun, exciting prime lens that's going to get a lot of different jobs done for you. I'll pop some links in the description so you can go and check them out for yourself, see what I mean about the price as well, because they are pretty reasonable, to be honest. I don't know the exact price, it will differ between brands a little bit, but worth having a look, let me tell you. Of course, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe, and tell me your favorite Nifty 50 lens. And if you don't love a Nifty 50, tell me why. Tell me why down in the comments, because as you can probably tell, I love a Nifty 50. So let me know down in the comments if you don't, or if you do. I'd love to know. I'll see you in the next video, and as always, thanks for watching.